morsels outside my sycamore tree. Single, a green willow, her head on her bosom, her head on her knee. Sing willow, willow, willow. The fresh streams run by her and murmur her moan. Sing willow, willow, willow. The salt is for sunburn, soften the stone. Sing willow, willow, willow. Ready, hidey, you come on. Sing all the green willow must be my darling. Let nobody blame in this scorn I approve.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. This is our first Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the month of August. And I'm here with Henry, Bill, Maggie. Hopefully more of our regulars are going to join us in a little bit. But let's see, based on the randomly determined order, Maggie is going to perform for us first today. Where'd she go? Hi, Maggie.
I'm here. Sorry.
While I'm finding the wheel to share on the screen, tell us a little bit how you been.
Been good. Yep. I'm getting ready. I'm actually going to England on Thursday to be in a couple of productions of Shakespeare. One really nice part, we're playing Polonius in a short. It's all scenes of just Ophelia's scenes. And then 2 weeks later, I've got a small part in As You Like It. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, well, that's going to be a lot of fun. Well,
yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of emotions.
I wish I could be there to see you, but fortunately, Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge it's possible
absolutely.
for lovers of the Bard to see each other perform right here and now.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we're about to do. So we're about to see Maggie perform. Round and around she goes. Oh, this is from the Henry VI. Where
Henry VI, Part 3, 2,
Civil
5.
War, brother against brother. This is father against the son finds the dead soldier on the other side and realizes it's his father. It's just after the molehill speech, which is another great monologue that I had not had on the wheel until recently, and I realized that we should add it.
I see it.
Okay, let me create the banner. Part 3. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go.
Okay. Ill blows the wind that profits nobody. This man, whom hand to hand I slew in fight, may be possessed with some store of crowns, and I, that haply take them from him now, may yet ere night yield both my life and them to someone else, some man else, as this dead man doth me. Who's this? Oh, God. It is my father's face, whom in this conflict I unawares have killed. Oh, heavy times, begetting such events. From London by the king was I pressed forth. My father, being the Earl of Warwick's man, came on the part of York, pressed by his master, and I, who at his hands received my life, him have by my hands of life bereaved him. Pardon me, God, I knew not what I did. And pardon, Father, for I knew not thee. My tears shall wipe away these bloody marks, and no more words till they have flowed their fill. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. So Bill is up next, and then sorry, put the wrong person out of the stream. And then Henry, and then myself. Bill is going to be performing. And too soon. Okay, I think Capulet. This is in Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Scene 2. Another recent edition.
Okay.
Okay, have you found it?
Yes, I just found it.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
And too soon marred are those so early made. The earth has swallowed up all my hopes, but she is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agree within her scope of choice lies my consent and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love, and you among the store. One more, most welcome, makes my number more. At my poorhouse look to behold this night earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel when well-apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads. Even such delight among fresh female buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Hear all see, and like her most, whose merit most shall be, which on more view of many mind being one may stand in number, though in reckoning none. Come, go with me. Scene.
Okay, very nice. Okay, Henry is now up, and then I am on deck. Henry is going to do... I think this is Marcus discovering Lavinia after she's been raped, had her hands cut off. Okay. Let's create the bit. This is Act 2, Scene 4.
Okay, I found it.
What's that?
I found it.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Who is this? My niece that flies away so fast. Cousin a word, where is your husband? If I do dream, would all my wealth would wake me? If I do wake, some planet strike me down, that I may slumber in eternal sleep. Can I start again? Sorry. Who is this? My niece that flies away so fast. Cousin a word, where is your husband? If I do dream, would all my wealth would wake me? If I do wake, some planet strike me down, that I may slumber in eternal sleep. Speak, gentle niece, what stern, ungentle hands have locked and hewed, and made thy body bare of her two branches, those sweet ornaments whose circling shadows kings have sought to sleep in, and might not gain so great a happiness as have thy love. Why dost not speak to me? Alas, a crimson river of warm blood, like to a bubbling fountain stirred with wind, doth rise and fall between thy rosed lips, coming and going with thy honey breath. But sure some Tereus has deflowered thee, and lest thou shouldst detect him, cut thy tongue. Now thou turn'st away thy face for shame, and notwithstanding all this loss of blood as from a conduit with 3 issuing spouts, yet do thy cheeks look red as Titan's face, blushing to be encountered with a cloud. Shall I speak with thee, for thee? shall I say 'tis so? Oh, that I knew thy heart, and knew the beast, that I may rail at him and ease my mind. Sorrow concealed like an oven stopped doth burn the heart to cinders where it is. Fair Philomela, she but lost her tongue, and in a tedious sampler sowed her mind. But, lovely niece, that mean is cut from thee. The craftier Tereus' cousin hast thou met, and he hath cut those pretty fingers off that could have better sewed than Philomel. Oh, had the monster seen those lily hands tremble like aspen leaves upon the lute, and make a silken strings delight to kiss him, he would not then have touched them for his life. Oh, had he heard the heavenly harmony which the sweet tongue hath made, he would have dropped his knife and fell asleep as Cerberus at the Thracian poet's feet. Come, let's go, and make thy father blind, for such a sight will blind a father's eye. 1 hour's storm will drown the fragrant meads, who will with months of tears thy father's eyes. Do not draw back, for we will mourn with thee. Oh, could our mourning ease thy misery?
Okay, awesome.
Jolly morning. Wake up.
So I am the last to go. It is. I just want, before I go, I wanted to mention to all four of us. We have, unfortunately, it's kind of a small group today, but we'll do the scenes. I say after I go, since there's only four of us, rather than cut the game short, does anybody have any objection to all four of us going again before we switch to the scenes? Or
I insist.
that's what I thought everybody would like to do. So I just thought I would suggest it. There were a couple of our regulars that mentioned they had something come up. They weren't going to make it today, so there's no sense in cutting the game short just because we don't have as many people. But we got four great players here, and we might as well enjoy more of those four, even though we don't have some of our other good actors with us today as well. So I will perform, and then let's go ahead. But before we do scenes, let's all four of us go ahead and go again. So my monologue is going to be oh, so we're all getting new ones. This is great. I've just added a bunch of new ones to the wheel. This is a good Mowbray and Richard II. Here we go. Then, Bolingbroke, as low as to thy heart, with the false passage of thy throat thou liest. 3 parts of that receipt I had for Calais, dispersed I duly to his highness soldiers. The other part reserved I by consent, for that my sovereign liege was in my debt, upon remainder of a dear account, since last I went to France to fetch his queen. Now swallow down that lie. For Gloucester's death I slew him not, but my own diligence neglected my sworn duty in that case. For you, my noble lord of Lancaster, the honorable father to my foe, once did I lay an ambush for your life, a trespass that doth vex my grieved soul. But ere I last received the sacrament, I did confess it, and exactly begged your grace's pardon. And I hope I had it. This is my fault. So the rest appeal that issues from the raker of a villain, a recreant and most degenerate traitor, which in myself I boldly will defend, and interchangeably hurl down my gage upon this overweening traitor's foot, to prove myself a loyal gentleman, even in the best blood chambered in his bosom. In haste whereof, most heartily I pray your highness to assign our trial day. Thank you. Okay, so we'll return to Maggie, and she's going for her second monologue. She will do rebellious subjects.
Roman, okay, 1-1. All right.
Yeah, the prince in. Give me a second to create the banner.
Sure.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay, scrolling. Must be towards, okay. Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained steel, will they not hear? What, ho! You men, you beasts, that quench the fire of your pernicious rage with purple fountains issuing from your veins, on pain of torture, from those bloody hands throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave beseeming ornaments, to wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time, all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me. And Montague, come you this afternoon to know our further pleasure in this case. To old Freetown, our common judgment place, once more, on pain of death, all men depart.
Okay. Nice. So Bill is up. Excuse me. Bill's second monologue is going to be conclusion of Midsummer.
Okay.
Very end.
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else, the puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands, if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. See?
Awesome. Henry is up again, and he will do Antigonus, come poor babe, Winter's Tale.
Winter's Tale 3-3.
Yeah, I
No,
believe
Winter's
it's the beginning of the
Tale.
scene, right when he's leaving the baby before he exits, pursued by a bear. Okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Come poor babe, is that right? Come poor babe.
Yes, begins with come poor babe.
Come, poor babe. I have heard but not believed the spirits of the dead may walk again. If such thing be, thy mother appeared to me last night, for ne'er was dream so like a waking. To me comes a creature, sometimes her head on one side, some another. I never saw a vessel of like sorrow so filled and so becoming. In pure white robes, like very sanctity, she did approach my cabin where I lay. Thrice bowed before me, and gasping to begin some speech, her eyes became two spouts. The fury spent anon did this break from her, good Antigonus, since fate against thy better disposition hath made thy person for the thrower out of my poor babe, according to thine oath. Places remote enough are in Bohemia. There weep and leave it crying. And for the babe is counted lost forever. Perdita, I prithee, call't for this ungentle business put on thee by my lord, thou ne'er shalt see thy wife Paulina more. And so, with shrieks, she mounted into air. Affrighted much I did in time collect myself, and thought that this was so, no slumber. Dreams are toys, yet for this once, yea, superstitiously, I will be squared by this. I do believe Hermione has suffered death, and that Apollo would, this being indeed the issue of King Polixenes, it should here be laid, either for life or death, upon the earth of its right father, Blossom. Speed thee well. There lie, and there thy character. There, these, which may, if fortune please, both breed thee pretty and still rest thine. The storm begins. Poor wretch, that for thy mother's fault art thus exposed to loss and what may follow. Weep I cannot, but my heart bleeds, and most accursed am I to be by loath oath enjoined to this. Farewell. The day frowns more and more. Thou'lt like to have a lullaby too rough. I never saw the heavens so dim by day. A savage clamour. Well, may I get aboard? This is the chase. I am gone forever. Ah.
Ah, there's the bear. Okay. So the last monologue we're going to do before we spin for scenes that I'm going to do is going to be the Polar King. This is the one where when other people spun it, they didn't understand. But I'm kind of glad that he does part of it, and then Polonius interrupts, and then well, actually, Hamlet starts it. Then he tells the player king to continue, and he goes before Polonius interrupts, and then he continues. I always say whoever spins this one to just do the whole bit continuously. uninterrupted. That's what I'm going to do. If I can find it. Okay, here we go. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast, it is not the rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble, when he lay crouched in the ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, head to foot. Now is he total gules, horribly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked with and pasted with the parching streets that lend a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder. Roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus sole grandsire Priam seeks. Anon he finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, and a rage strikes wide. But with the wift and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilion, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top, stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ears. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So, as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, nothing. But as we often see, against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below is hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars's armor, forged for proof etern with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out! Out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods in general synod, take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven, as low as to the fiends. But who had seen the mobled queen run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames, with bison rheum clout upon the head, where late the diadem stood, and for a robe about her length, and all o'er teemid loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen, with tongue in venom steeped, 'gainst fortune's state would treason have pronounced. But the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods. Thank you. Okay, so let's see what the four of us are going to do in the way of short scenes for you. Save this and switch to the And switch to the scenes monologue. To the scenes wheel. Okay, so we have Romeo and Juliet. Oh, this is we've done so many scenes from this, but we've never the one where it's the initial meeting. It's where the two of them actually meet at the Capulets party for the first time, and their whole conversation put together becomes a sonnet. That's the one we're gonna do. Now that's one that I just added to the wheel. Okay, here's and the other one is Henry the Sixth, Part 2. That's Act 4, Scene 10. That's Jack Cade and Iden. That I think this is the very end of Cade's rebellion, where he breaks into Iden's garden and he gets killed by. I think Iden is the person that owns the garden that he breaks into. He gets killed here, and that's the end of his rebellion. I'm going to go ahead. I'll take I'll take Cade in that scene, and then Henry gets the next choice between Romeo, Juliet, or Iden.
Romeo, please.
Okay. And Bill, what would you like?
Jack Cade?
I took that. Do you want
Iden then?
So you and I. Okay, you and I will do that scene, and then Henry and Henry and Maggie. So Henry and Maggie will do Romeo and Juliet, and then Bill and I will do the Jack Cade and Iden scene. So.
I missed which act and scene. I'm sorry, for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh,
1-5.
1-5. Okay.
Okay, so whenever we're ready to go.
Yeah, hang on. I'm scrolling. So 1-5. Okay, so it starts with if I profane.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. Okay.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, this gentle fine this is, my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray. Grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips by yours my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from thy lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
What? Is her mother? Is she a Capulet? Oh dear. We finished, have we?
Yes. It's
a short one, but very nice. Just the two of you doing a sonnet together, where the two of them meet. Okay, so myself and Bill will. Bill, have you found the scene?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I'm going to take. It starts with just me before you come in.
Yeah.
Say you're on my property, get the hell out, and everything's. So I'll put you in when that point comes. Fie on ambition, fie on myself that have a sword, and yet am ready to famish. These 5 days have I hid me in these woods, and durst not peep out, for all the country is laid for me. Now am I so hungry that if I might have a lease of my life for 1,000 years, I could stay no longer. Before on a brick wall have I climbed into this garden to see if I can eat grass, or pick a salad under while, which is not amiss to cool a man's stomach this hot weather. And I think this word salad was born to do me good. For many a time, but for a salad, my brain pan had cleft with the brown bill, and many a time when I have been dry and bravely marching hath served me instead of a quart pot to drink in. And now the word salad must serve me to feed on.
Lord, who would live turmoil in the court and may enjoy such quiet walks as these? This small inheritance my father left me contenteth me, and worth a monarchy. I seek not great by others' waning, or gather wealth, I care not with what envy. Suffices that I have maintains my state, and sends the poor well pleased from my gate.
Here's the lord of the soil comes to seize me for a stray, for entering his fee simple without leave. Ah, villain, thou wilt betray me, and get 1,000 crowns of the king, carrying my head to him. But I'll make thee eat iron like an ostrich, and swallow my sword like a great pin ere thou and I part.
Why, rude companion, whatsoe'er thou be, I know thee not. Why then should I betray thee? It's not enough to break into my garden, and like a thief to come to rob my grounds, climbing my walls in spite of me, the owner, but thou wilt brave me with these saucy terms?
Brave! Aye, by the best blood that ever was broached, and beard thee too. Look on me well. I have eaten no meat these 5 days, yet come thou, lie 5 men. And if I do not leave you all as dead as a doornail, I pray God I may never eat grass more.
Nay, it shall ne'er be said while England stands that Alexander Iden, an esquire of Kent, took odds to combat a poor famished man. Oppose thy steadfast gazing eyes to mine. See if thou canst outface me with thy looks. Set limb to limb, and thou art far the lesser. My hand is but a finger to thy fist. Thy leg is stick compared with this truncheon. My foot shall fight with all the strength thou hast, and if mine arm be heaved in the air, thy grave is digged already in the earth. As for words, whose greatness answers words, let this my sword report what speech forbears.
By my valor, the most complete champion that ever I heard. Steel! Thou turn the edge, or cut not out the burly boned clown in chimes of beef ere thou sleep in thy sheath. I beseech God on my knees thou mayest be burned, the hobnails. Oh, I am slain. Ammon and no other hath slain me. But 10,000 devils come against me, and give me but the 10 meals I have lost, and I'll defy them all. Wither garden, and be henceforth a burying place to all that do dwell in this house, because the unconquered soul of Cade is fled.
Is't Cade that I have slain, that monstrous traitor? Sword, I will hallow thee for this thy deed, and hang thee o'er my tomb when I am dead. Ne'er shall this blood be wiped from thy point, but thou shalt wear it as a herald's coat to emblaze the honor that thy master got.
I farewell, and be proud of thy victory. Tell Kent from me, she hath lost her best man, and exhort all the world to be cowards. For I, that never feared any, am vanquished by famine, not by valor.
how much thou wrong'st me, heaven be my judge. Die, damned wretch, the curse of her that bare thee, and as I thrust thy body in with my sword, so wish I might thrust thy soul to hell. Hence will I drag thee headlong by the heels unto a dunghill, which shall be thy grave, and there cut off thy most ungracious head, which I will bear in triumph to the king, leaving thy trunk for crows to feed upon.
Okay, awesome. We a lot of the we got to see a lot of the new material that I recently added to the wheel today, and we all did great work with it. I was glad to see that, and just the four of us to briefly close with. Did want to mention if any of you had any announcements, since there's only four of us, so I can put us all in, and if anybody had announcements, I can open it up to everybody. But I will announce, I know Eager Beaver Shakespeare with Vincent is doing King Lear tomorrow. My son Sheila, who couldn't make it today, is going to be in that with me. Maggie, are you in that one tomorrow?
I'm not. No, I'm not. Not this time.
I couldn't.
I have another Sunday event from 1 to 3 usually, so it interrupt each other.
I just thought I'd mention that for two reasons. One, because as usual, Vincent does it on Zoom, but then I share the screen and I share it to my YouTube channel, so you can see
good.
So you can see that here on this same YouTube channel. And secondly, because if anybody here or anybody watching would like to join, I mean, you got to ask Vincent for that. But if you do, and I can give you his email, I don't think he'll say no if you want to join, because as it is, we've only got like 5 or 6 people. And
right.
A lot of he's done the casting where we got one person is playing several roles in the same scene. So I'm sure if you reached out to him, even on such late notice, and asked, could you be included in that? I'm sure he probably would be open to the idea. So I just thought.
Yeah, I saw the. I saw the update on it, and it looked like there were still a lot of good roles.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd mention that for those two reasons. You can see it on this channel on YouTube. I'll share Vincent's stream to my channel. And if you'd like to join, reach out to Vincent. I think he would probably be glad to have you. Do any of the other three of you have an announcement that you'd like people to hear before we end the stream?
None from me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, thank you everybody for participating this time. I look forward to seeing you all same time next week for the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. Bye now.